In terms of assessment, I think it's important to clearly, at the very beginning of the journey, is to identify the clear standards of expected quality, the difference between what is poor, what is good, very good and excellent. And with that comes a certain degree of critique. And the critique emphasis should be not on a personal, it is about the sort of commentary on the content. In the second year, I think it's about being honest, honesty of critique with the student. Again, not on a personal level, but because they've got clear good, bad and very good and excellent understanding in first year, and I think in the second year we shouldn't be afraid to identify those, and then it gives them an opportunity to sort of build on that. And the third year, critics should be professional, because they're going out into the industry if that's what they're doing, and seen as one would in a professional environment, and encouraged to be self-assessor rather than being assessed.
In terms of the evolution, how the structure of a whole programme can really influence the way in which students behave. So in the first year, because they see it as not counting, some students, perhaps ones that are reasonably hardworking, will take risks and kind of learn about their skills and so on. And that used to be the case in the second year, that they had opportunities still to continue to take risks. But now it seems that they're, because everything in the second year counts towards the final degree, that they are pretty strategic and not really willing to do the difficult essay or the difficult project. They just want to do the safe option, not take wild modules, and kind of get to one.
Because it wasn't even being marked as a proper assessment, no one really took it too seriously.
You were just doing it for the grade and for the mark. I was unsure where I'd get my marks and how I'd get my marks.
I have learned that it's actually the marks that make up the 10 and 15% that really impact your grade. It's not the kind of 0.4% that count.
Not everybody develops at the same time, and often what I know students who perhaps haven't kind of got the first, but actually become excellent practitioners because it's taken time to simulate that information, and others who've gained first have actually remained static because they've kind of peaked quite early on. So I think this notion of grades is perhaps is one that's most difficult to deal with. It should be about self-fulfillment from the course rather than the grades. And somehow, if as the structure can be established, with marking or whatever methodology can be used to say it's about self-fulfillment from the course rather than the classifications. I know that's kind of idealistic.
Second year, some people that could do academic essays in first year were still working off the back of those skills, and there was a sense that there was no need to learn new skills in second year. You just feel that you're doing really well with marks. I think there does need to be an emphasis on more academic modules. There needs to be some sort of compulsory component that keeps going through the years. Maybe in second year, a compulsory component could be a big essay, perhaps 50-60% with 10% mark just for your research, like a mock dissertation in a way. Maybe the skills that you learn will help you definitely in third year, I think, anyway.
Again, there's two camps. There's some staff who have quite unrealistic expectations, often linked to inexperience, perhaps being new members of teaching staff. But there's also a trend in some institutions of going to the other extreme and breaking stuff down and avoiding the long written assignments, which doesn't necessarily help prepare them, because the first year then becomes very basic in order to allow them to kind of grow in all the other areas.
All courses will have different aspects within a curriculum, and each profession has many strands of skills, and not everybody's good good at designing, some might be very good at management, some might be good at writing, some might be good at actually visual material. And I think somehow the curriculums could be designed so that each is rewarded with what they're good at, rather than sort of everybody's got to be a great designer or a great fashion maker and everything. And I think that would actually strengthen and give encouragement, but that requires perhaps again a kind of course assessment. How do we actually structure that, and how do we provide this opportunity for people to be good at what they are rather than be good at everything.
And teach them different sort of skills as well, like bringing sort of different communication skills, not only graphic representations and stuff, but communication, like how to be in a group, like managerial maybe skills.
Yes, absolutely.
Because then they can choose to become the sort of architect they're going to become, the sort of fashion designer they're going to become, more like in a management more. So I think different sort of skills that will be important throughout the whole year.
And I think, maybe there is a point at which point, they can choose where, and they want to place 80% of their emphasis on management, 20% on design, or 80% on emphasis, or, 30, whichever way they want, and let them almost assign or write their own degree directions.
But is that not sort of stepping into MA territory a little bit? I think it might be. I mean, I can see your point, but I'm not quite sure how far you can go with it.
Sure.
Next year, hopeful that, obviously given there's a big case study coming up, I would hope that, as I said, you'd look at the weaknesses in people's writing, spend some time at maybe the end of this year or start next year looking at the weaknesses in people's writing and then sitting them down and saying this is what you've got to do better to get this sort of mark.
And I don't even know if my ideas are anywhere near what they expect from a dissertation.
You could think, well, have a couple of examples in your mind of what people have done. You kind of have a bit more if you know you're going on the right track.
Probably it's a time for them to realise good is okay or pass is okay. Don't be too worried if you pass. You're thinking, I can't do this. I just can't do this subject. It's something they need to realise. Even make mistakes. It's a learning process. One thing I think it's quite difficult to assess, and it's very important for year 2, is this taking risk. Because second year they are start to know a lot of things and test the boundary, can really go explore things, different styles, form their own styles. But on the other hand, they are aware that there's certain mark of second year will contribute to the final mark. So whether they do take that risk to explore or not is really important, but it's very difficult to reflect.
I think as long as we encourage them and assure them that they'll be rewarded and within the marks for their risk taking, and that it doesn't matter if it fails. It's the method, maybe, an approach that is assessed.
Well, I think the student expectation has changed now with the fee system, and I think we are getting a different type of student, are asking different types of questions now.